Hello, viewers. Welcome to Global Teleport Talks. It's yet another chance, to engage with you virtually. Uh, Tonight, I'll be your host tonight, and my name is Kenneth Mundu, your host. And tonight, we shall be diving into a conversation that drive change with Mr. James Bomboka regarding Sustainable Development Goal Part 10. To give you a brief background of Mr. James Bomboka, Mr. James Bomboka is a scholar from the University of Nottingham, based in UK. He's doing his master's degree in environmental process engineering from Nottingham University. Furthermore to that, he has a bachelor's degree in automotive um, engineering from Chambogo University. And also regarding his professional working experience, he has worked as a health and safety environmental coordinator with a three shipping waste company based in Uganda. More to that, he's very passionate about climate change, and he has worked on a couple of projects within the oil and gas sector in Uganda, whereby he has offered, guidances and recommendation. On top of that, is a specialist with 10 years working experience in areas of project sustainability and management. And when it comes to conservation, he's really very passionate about offering guidance and very passionate about, offering recommendation. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from. Join me as we welcome Mr. James Bomboka on our remote interview. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Kenneth, for this opportunity to talk to you and to talk to the broader coverage that is going to be receiving our message. And we hope it goes out in the good faith and people can pick up something really well to see how our countries, our Africa can also develop to attain sustainable development.
Yeah.
Like we said, we are going to talk about sustainable goals, which are, and mainly we shall deal with climate action, which is goal number 13.
Yeah.
That is what we should be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for such, warm welcoming remarks. And I believe that, throughout the session, we shall be in position to inspire or even, promote information that will put up a positive change. Based on your background, you're doing your master's in environmental process engineering, a program that relates well with the Sustainable Development Goal 13. As a specialist in this area, first of all, I would like to pose to you a question. Why do you think that sustainable development goals as a whole are very important in the global setting? Yeah. Or do they even matter? Or we are just wasting time to make sure that we promote them? Do you think they're important in the global setting?
First and foremost, is what are sustainable development goals? That's what we need to first understand.
True.
And appreciate it, because one thing I know is back home, back home, I don't think most of the people have appreciated what sustainable development goals are. And now the most important thing is to appreciate what the sustainable development goals are.
Yeah.
First, these are the 17 interconnected goals by which were put up by the United Nations. That was in 2015, to see that the world can attain sustainable development around 2030. So sustainable development, what is sustainable development? Sustainable development, you will take it in a scenario where you would want development in a sustainable way, in a way that you're not using up the resources, you're reserving the resources that you have for the coming generations, because it's our responsibility to see that we maintain everything that we have right now for the coming generation. So we don't have to really use up the resources. Now, that is one of the things that show that it is sustainable. I'll put it across like when you're talking about, I don't want to really drill into fossil fuels, but because I don't want to hit so much into that side. But if you look at fossil fuels, if you drill fossil fuels and they are not being recovered, a time will come and these fossil fuels will be exhausted. So what happens to that? coming generations that are going to come. That's why sometimes we try to also bring in like renewable energy, which cannot be exhausted. You look at sun, you cannot exhaust the sun. So in the long run, everything we do should be sustainable. That's literally a small thing about sustainability. Now, sustainability also we should look at in a way that it's not affecting the environment, it's not affecting the biodiversity. So everything should be in harmony while we are attaining development, because it's man who has caused more danger to the world. It's man. If you imagine a world where man was not existing, then it would be a better world. Animals would be happy, plants would be happy. But since we are existing alongside animals, and our impact buildings we are putting up, cars we are driving that are emitting, putting up a lot of emissions, these are the things that are damaging the environment. So we need to look at the way that our impact is not affecting the environment. It's not affecting the other environmental users, the plants, the animals, the water bodies. So that's the brief thing I can talk about sustainability.
Yeah. When it comes to sustainable development in relation to climate, as a specialist still in that area, according to the 2024 Sustainable Development Goal Report of United Nations, it was noted that 2023 was the year that was the most warmest of all records. I mean, could you clarify on the reason as to why global warming is increasing? What are some of the reasons that cause global warming? Yeah.
Okay, just to put it clear, 2024 was the hottest the previous year.
Okay. Nice.
It has been the hottest over years. 2024 has proven to be the hottest, and we're seeing it.
Yeah.
Recently, it manifested in America, in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Was it LA? Where we had a wildfire, a big wildfire, and yeah, so it was LA, it was California, where we had a big wildfire, one of those two cities.
Yeah.
So the things that we are doing are leading to climate change. Things like the emissions we are doing, the emissions we are putting out. So everything that we need to really work on, to work on our emissions,
Yeah.
To see that we cap down these climate changes.
Yeah.
Could you pardon on your question, please?
My question was, you clearly stated that 2024 was the warmest. And based on that, what are some of the activities that are leading to increased global warming? Yeah.
Okay, the activities that we look at that have led to increased global warming, we look at the most especially the pollution.
Yeah, sure.
That the companies are doing, factories,
Yeah.
oil and gas mining that is releasing that is the oil and gas would be on another side, but you look at what we are using the oil for, like the cars. But in sustainability, if we have to look at sustainability, if we are to make these procedures more sustainable, like if we are to really bring out cars that we are supposed to use cars like cars that are hybrid cars, and you find that we are not really, these cars are not emitting so much to the environment. If we incorporate we talk about the years, because you look at the cars, the more the older the car becomes, the more emissions it brings out to them. So the type of energy the type of energy we are using in it also contributes to the climate change. Are you using fossil energy for development, or are you using renewable energy? Most of the fossil energies, coal, that most countries like the developed countries that have been using, you find that it's some of the things that has caused more pollution to the environment. Global warming is looked at in a way that man, now if you come back to our countries like the LDCs where we are, people who are doing bush burn, cutting down trees for charcoal. cutting down forests for charcoal. These are all the things that are bringing about global warming. So these are the things that we need to look at and see how to avoid them. If we can move our people from using charcoal as their source, as their fuel, to at least adapting to e-cooking, to using things like gas that could actually at least help to save the emissions that we are putting up to the environment. The other thing is these things that we have, like forests, cutting them down for charcoal, because now a forest will work as a sink for the carbon that we emit to the environment. It sinks when we emit carbon to the environment. These forests in adverse, they use up the carbon, which makes them a better sink to decarbonize the environment. So these are the things that are related to climate change.
Yeah. Thank you so much, James, for that wonderful presentation. More to that, still, I would like to, to bring to your attention that, you've really explained about the causes of, of increased global warming. But I believe still there's room, or you still have knowledge when it comes to solution. Based on our topic today, we are trying to localize, the impacts of global warming. How are we going to find solutions? Based on that, the effects of global warming or climate change happen in a global setting, but solutions require local input. How best can you advise, especially people living in Africa, to best handle global warming? Yeah, sure.
First and foremost, climate, we have to note that climate doesn't mind whether you believe it's changing or it's not changing.
Yeah.
That once for it will change.
Yeah.
So if you believe it's changing, it won't mind. If you don't believe it's changing, it won't mind. When time comes for change, it will change. So it's our responsibility to see that we protect the climate, to protect the environment, to see that it doesn't change. One, by doing that, we have to create awareness to people. Most people are not aware. So they are not aware that climate is changing. Life is moving on normally. People are doing their own thing. You find someone is doing deforestation unknowingly. They don't mind. So we have to create awareness. We have to teach these people that things that we are doing are negative. You find someone is cooking from inside pollution.
Yeah.
But the pollution people are causing, and people are doing it just because of lack of this awareness. So it's paramount for our governments to see that they create awareness to the people. That's one of the things that raising awareness. Then the other thing is foster international cooperations, which I'm seeing our governments are really doing. They have to really go into international cooperations with other countries that have already made it. Now, like international cooperations with countries like the United Arab Emirates and UK that are moving on to green energy, the buildings that they are doing. These are things we need to buy on bring into our countries. We need to see that we interact with these countries. We need to see that we attend the conferences. We can't just pull out of anything of the treaties that people that are being put across. We can't just pull out and keep ourselves aside.
Yeah.
The other thing is we have to really consider data collection and monitoring of what we are doing.
Yeah.
Look at air pollution. If I'm to look at the LDCs, the low developed countries, how many LDCs are monitoring their air quality? These are the things that we need to look at. People increasing pollution, or is it reducing? So if you're not monitoring the levels of pollution and assessing them against what you had last year, how are you going to make sure that you improve? These are things that we need to work on. We need to really monitor the data that we are getting and what we are doing so that every other year we are improving on it. Promoting good governance, accountability. Everyone should be accountable. Whoever is found in wrong, someone is misusing funds that have been put across for climate change, these are people who are supposed to be held accountable.
Yeah.
No one should go away with if you've done something wrong, you have to be held accountable for what you've done, so that we see how to improve. We reduce, if we are to reduce corruption levels within our governments, then we shall see an improvement in everything that we are doing. Strengthen institutions, like other interministerial committees. I've seen Uganda does it well if it really decides to do it. Look at when we had COVID, the COVID task forces that were put up. These are things that helped to fight COVID. So these are the same things that we need to put up for climate task forces that are fighting. Now, if you to look at what Uganda currently is doing, by the time I left the country, what was happening in Luigi, you're moving someone from a drainage, from a wetland. Where are you putting them? These are the things that we need to be considering. As in climate resilient, you cannot just come and break someone's house without finding where to put them aside. So are you impacting that instance of resilience within people? Are people ready for resilience? What if we are going to have a drought? How are people ready for this? What if we have floods coming up? How are people ready for how are people resilient to counteract the adverse effects? Because now this has already been shown in the things we are doing, like getting people out of the wetlands, and we don't have where to put them.
Yeah.
Now these are the same things that are going to happen when we have floods. Are we ready to counteract these things? The other thing is to integrate the SDGs. We have to see that these SDGs work hand in hand: climate action, education. This awareness is through education, climate action. So all these SDGs have to be interconnected to make sure that everything moves on perfectly. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. James, for that wonderful, submission. We really appreciate, as people of Global Teleport Talks. I mean, the information that you're sharing with us is very rich, and believe that it will yield positive change. But more to that, still, I'm really now getting interested in the topic, especially when you mentioned about Uganda. I really become so amused on how we do things in Uganda. But to go to the next question, which is our coming question. If you look at all the goals are interconnected, but if you go further and still do more focus, Sustainable Development Goal 13 is the goal that talks about climate, and we only have one Earth that we should take care of. As a specialist in this, do you think more emphasis should be put on Sustainable Development Goal 13, or other goals should also be given more focus? Yeah.
You cannot settle for only Sustainable Development Goal 13. You have to also settle on other Sustainable Development Goals. The other Sustainable Development Goal that I would really look at is education. Education is one thing that would really enlighten people from people. This is where awareness is really created.
Yeah.
Education is key to like it's a key that is holding to people's awareness. Then we need to think about health of the people that we are telling this sustainable development.
Yeah.
The 13th goal. You need to look at things like governance, good governance. So you cannot only settle for Sustainable Development Goals 13. All these Sustainable Development Goals have to move hand in hand to see that everything is moving one by.
Oh, nice. Nice. Thank you so much for that guidance. But maybe also to continue and take you back to Sustainable Development Goal 13, which talks about climate. What are some of the activities that I believe that you well conversant with Uganda's leadership and activities. What are some of the activities that Uganda as a country or Uganda as a government has put in place to make sure that Sustainable Development Goal 13 is being promoted?
Some of the things I've really seen Uganda has been working out something to remove people from wetlands, which is a good thing that they are doing. I would want to applaud Uganda for for the works they are doing in seeing that Sustainable Development Goals 13 is moving on. If I look at the projects Uganda is doing, like the project that is involving oil and gas, they have really tried to manage it in a way that is catering for Sustainable Development Goal 13. If you have taken some time to be in the oil and gas industry of Uganda, you will really appreciate that Uganda is doing something good to say that Sustainable Development Goal 13 is picking up. I look at the other project that is coming up, like the nuclear energy that Uganda is benchmarking to start up. This is one of the goals that is going to, because if you bring up nuclear energy in the country, that means people are going to move on to cleaner energy. People are going to embrace e-cooking. If we have energy within the country, then Sustainable Development Goals 13 will be the oil and gas will be providing a cheaper gas that will be used by people. So if we substitute the gas that we can be using for the firewood people are using for cooking, for other things, yeah, I see Uganda is on trend. The other thing I would like Uganda to put up is to really monitor the air pollution within the country. I don't know how they're handling it, but I don't know if they're doing it. We really need to take this into action because the pollution is becoming too much and we are not giving it an eye. But if you look at these are the diseases that people are going to be getting and we don't know where diseases are getting from. You look at an LDC where someone is eating cassava, someone is eating sweet potato, someone I wouldn't want to use the word poor, but someone who's not frying, and getting diseases like cancers. So you wonder where these cancers coming from for someone who is eating fresh food. These are the diseases that are coming from the polluted air that we are breathing in. So we have to find a solution to fighting all this, and we have to monitor the air quality that we are doing, because we have to, if we monitor the air quality we are doing, then we shall look at the things we can do. We cannot just allowing old cars to come into the country that have been dumped in other countries, and we're pushing them into our country. We cannot let a factory. Recently, I saw one of the factories. A friend sent me a factory from his village, which is processing cement, and it was releasing a soot that could really see that this soot has not been treated, releasing it to the atmosphere. Now, just neighboring to this factory was a school. So imagine the students who are going to grow up in this environment and they're exposed to this soot, this contamination that is being released to the environment. The other thing Uganda I'm seeing is working on is the Kira EV that it has put up. This is a great move and I'll applaud for it. This is a great move to seeing that the climate is really worked on. We need to embrace clean transport, clean cooking. These are the things that people need to embrace. The mentality that gas is expensive should really move out of people's brains. Gas is not more expensive as compared to firewood. The only thing I would put to gas is the safety of the gas. But if people learn how to do this thing is safe, gas is cheaper as compared to wood. The diseases you get when you're using wood for cooking, when you're using charcoal for cooking, they are not the same diseases you may get when you're using clean cooking. So on the greater side, Uganda as a low-income country, I'm saying it's doing a good thing. But then I'll go back to awareness on the people. We don't need to leave people behind. We need to talk to them. We need to engage civic societies, civil societies. We need to go down and talk to the LCs. We need to have meetings with people. I would really like to give an example of Singapore, the things that Singapore has been doing. Like right now in Singapore, it has one of the biggest water treatment project that within the world that you look at, the clean water thing. So if you look at what Singapore, they are reusing water, wastewater, water that someone is waste is being brought back to being the purest water to be used in factories, to be used in processing chips. These chips are the things that need pure water to be drunk. You understand? So they did this through first creating awareness to people, telling them about the importances of reusing water. You need to remove that mentality from people that what they think is wrong to what they think should be the correct thing. Now, we need to set up that mindset. What else did I want to talk about? All right, we shall drill more into it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. James, for that wonderful, information that you're sharing with us. We really appreciate once more. Uh, Maybe still to as we draw towards, the end of our session. There are two questions that I would like to pose to you, but they will come in one. The first one, this one will be in a global perspective. But having learned that you come from Uganda actually, and you have more knowledge regarding about Uganda, maybe you may refer to Uganda, but I mean it's open. You can even refer to the UK if you want to. From a global perspective,
Mm.
I mean, how can global governments, best align their policies? If you may break it down to Uganda, in order to promote or in order to achieve Agenda 2030. And then the other one is, before maybe you answer, the other one is, do you think Agenda 2030 will be achievable? Because 2025 marks the official year of counting down to the attainment of Agenda 2030. Yeah, sure.
Let me start with the former. I think Agenda 2030 may be difficult to achieve,
Nice.
seeing the way how things move on. And I think because the biggest player in the game that we have been looking at recently has signed to move out of some of the things like now climate action.
Yeah.
So Agenda 2030, it would really be hard. But if we give it more years, I think we may move towards it.
Yeah, but
Moving on to
before you move on to another one, but as a specialist or as someone who has experience in sustainable development, what could be the, some of the challenges that could limit the attainment of Agenda 2030, or even you can even draw comparison between, Europe and Africa, and you see if maybe Europe has attained it to a certain percentage, and what have they done actually to make sure that they attain that percentage in Europe? Yeah.
all right. According to what I'm seeing in Europe, is trying to do something really good to see that Agenda 2030 is moving on fast. You look at their education is very clean and smart.
Yeah.
Like they produce you from the university and you're really ready for the work. You look at the clean energy, the cars they are using, they are cleaner emissions, and they're trying to move on to more clean cars. The cooking they're using out here,
Yeah.
it's clean. So they're trying to move it to recently. I heard that UK has completely gone out of coal,
Yeah.
which has been the major emitters, the major like coal is one of the things that are really affecting the environment. So if such strides are taken in UK, but yeah, they are using the advantage of they are developed countries and they can work it out. So these are the same things we need to push on to countries like African countries.
Yeah.
But one thing I know about these countries, the LDCs, is if they're committed to doing everything. I've been trying to analyze the scenarios they have been going through from late in 18s pre-industrial revolutions. They have, if you look at the smogs they have been having, I don't know if I talk about a smog, you understand.
Yeah.
A smog would be like the cover, the cloudy cover, smoke appearing within the atmosphere and you cannot see. So they have been having challenges, but they have been sorting out these challenges, earthquakes. So I don't know, probably in Africa, maybe we have less problems, which are not really giving us a challenge
Yeah.
to think about mitigating them. But I think the challenges these guys have been facing, they have really pushed them forward to see how to look for solutions, and which has been a good thing. If you're to go through the safety hazards they have been having, like oil and gas hazards, and they've been finding solutions to all these. These are the things we need to embrace. But
Yeah.
I believe it's a step by step. But as African countries, we need to step up our game and increase our stability and pace.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, maybe you may
Yeah.
proceed to the next question because there were two questions. How can global governments, if you may relate to Uganda, best align their policies to make sure that we improve, towards the attainment of sustainable development goal?
one, we shouldn't pull out the, we shouldn't think about pulling out of the international treaties that have been agreed around every other country. That is the first thing we should do. We should maintain those international treaties. A change in the government shouldn't mean that we pull out of the international treaties, except if you've really sat on the table with the international, with the other countries you are within in the international treaty, and given in your challenges. But we shouldn't pull out, mainly to the to the low developed countries. These international treaties, I think they are for the good. Just if the developed countries are fulfilling their pledges. Recently, the IDC was collecting, looking at COP29, World Bank scorecards, and everything that World Bank is working on to see that they secure the funds that can be helping in the attaining of sustainable development goals. If the LDCs can commit to what they fulfill their commitments, then I don't find a reason why LDCs would really move out. But though there is a country where I've seen they have tried to do the things their own way and they are moving on. So literally, sometimes maybe it may depend on the governance and what they have. So I wouldn't really go into politics, but that side of it, I would leave it to that side. I will really, the other point is I would really emphasize the issue of awareness. We have to create awareness to the people. We have to involve civil societies. We have to involve the lowest person. We have to tell these people the truth behind everything. We have to inform them about what is making them sick, what is killing them in advance. You know, the interconnection within these sustainable development goals. Poverty moves in first. If I'm to interconnect climate action with poverty, you're cooking using charcoal.
True.
You get diseases. You die easily. Your children are left as orphans. They don't go to school. So you see, it's something that is coming up. The train moves on like that. So we have to fight all these things. It is something that we need to fight. It is something that we need to create awareness. If you die, your child will be left as an orphan. Now, if a child remains an orphan, he won't be able to go to school. If he doesn't be able to go to school, the chances of him becoming rich, the chances of him becoming aware are very little. So that circle of poverty will continue within the country. We need to fight this. That's all about awareness. We need to fight. We need to form committees, task forces. That right now I know that like if you're to go to Uganda, I believe the NEMA, National Environment Management Authority, I think it's doing something good. I haven't been into it so much, but I'll try to read more about what they're doing. I don't know if they're being empowered, but we need to empower these organizations so that they can do their best. When these organizations have to be accountable for everything, money shouldn't be lost within. If they have been given a given amount of fund, they should use it to the best. Everyone should be held accountable. Recently, during the campaigns, I saw when President Trump was being shot, and I tried to follow up about what they're doing. The head of the team that is supposed to be protecting presidents, that is which team is that? The head was really held accountable, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, she had to resign for just an attempt of shooting the president. And imagine, she's not on ground, she's heading from, but she's held accountable for that, and she had to resign. If I'm not wrong, these are the things. Someone cannot misappropriate funds that were meant for this, and you leave them stay in office. They are supposed to resign. They are supposed to go to prison. So if we put up something like this, these are the things that we have to be committed. Another thing that one thing that I would really want to say is team energy. So anything that is involving energy security, before we think about anything, we have to look at energy security. We have to be having energy security. So oil and gas, you cannot sabotage oil and gas without showing us that how are we going to be energy secure. If you're telling us that we shall really do solar, will solar be able to run our factories? Because look at a country like South Korea. If I'm to look at a country like South Korea, sometime back, like in Amini's age, South Korea was at the same footing with Uganda.
Yeah.
But do you know what South Korea did? South Korea South Korea is a country that does not have uranium.
Yeah.
South Korea it has no uranium. Right now, it's just buying its uranium. What South Korea did is it got some of its sharp boys, girls, students, sent them to America to study uranium, nuclear energy, with conditions that if you don't come back to the country, this and this will happen. We are going to go up with your family and we shall see what. So these guys came back. South Korea started up uranium and nuclear energy. Currently, one company of South Korea like this, look at Wansang,
Yeah.
look at Samsung, look at LG. LG alone could produce a GDP that is greater than that of Uganda. But a few years back, South Korea was on the same footing. So before we think about anything, are we energy secure? That's why I think about, well, Uganda has the plan, which is good, nuclear energy, which is coming up on board.
Yeah.
These are the things we shouldn't sabotage. When I'm coming in is, how can we make these things sustainable?
Yeah.
That is the only thing we need to do. But we cannot sabotage oil and gas. We just need to make it sustainable. We cannot sabotage nuclear energy. We just need to make it sustainable.
Yeah.
We need to look at the carbon footprint of the project before we all go into, we want solar energy. What is the carbon footprint of the solar energy we need?
Yeah.
Carbon footprint. This is the carbon. These are the things we need to. If you look at nuclear energy, one spontaneous disintegration of an atom of uranium like this can produce energy that would be good to run a country for industrialization.
Yeah.
So energy industrialization. Now, my question is, why would a country like South Korea that has no uranium has nuclear energy, and a country like Uganda that has uranium, why has it taken it so long to embrace nuclear energy? Are we as Africans sleeping, or we are not ready for development? Is it that sometimes I would really, because we would really say that, I wouldn't want to bring in the issue of racism, but I would really want to talk about it. Because is it that color that is keeping us behind?
Yeah.
Is it the what? So these are the things we need to, because you cannot say that the whites are doing something different.
Yeah.
The Europeans are doing something good, but now South Korea, they are not Europeans.
Yeah, true.
You understand?
Yeah.
China is not, they are not Europeans.
Yeah.
So is it the color that is making them think greater than us? So these are the barriers. We need to make sure that we pace up our game so that we get onto the same level with these guys. Otherwise, we cannot just be there redundant. I think that one I've explained it. Yeah, I think these are the few things the government should do. Like the other things we've been going through them, foster international corporations, boundaries, international markets.
Yeah.
Sure, and I believe if we have enough energy within the country, if we get enough energy, then we shall be able to industrialize. If we have industrialization, we shall be creating jobs for people. If people have income, they are not living below the minimum wage rate. They are not living below the minimum income. Daily expenditure. People will be able to take their children to school. People will be able to go to hospitals. So the rate of things that worry me is, why would someone die when he's 20 years? This is the productive age. Why would someone be knocked down by a car?
Yeah.
And then you say, yeah, God has called him. Why?
No.
Our roads, people are driving badly. We shouldn't even blame God.
Yeah.
If someone is knocked down by a car, if someone has caused an accident, it's because our roads are bad. So we need to think ahead.
Yeah.
We need to think about going to moon. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. James, for that wonderful, submission. I really appreciate. I mean, it's been very, very insightful. Especially when you mentioned about when you came up with, self questions regarding either is it racism? I mean, is it color or that? But to me, I don't believe that it's color that is holding us back. But in one way or the other, maybe it's leadership. But maybe that will be a story for another day. We need to also to look at our leadership, especially when we are back here in Africa. And people like you actually will bring, the knowledge that gaining from abroad, especially from global north, and you bring it back here down to Africa, so that we make sure that things move in a very smooth way. I believe that if we work properly towards our leadership within Africa, trust me, it's not all about the color that that is holding us back. You just mentioned about the Chinese. They just woke up also. So I believe it's very interesting, but just because of the time, this has been a very interesting debate. I believe that maybe in a nearby future we can come up with another, debate or topic, so that we dig deep, or so that we dive deep into the conversations, and they be in position to come up with a positive change or positive results, especially back here in Uganda where we come from. Based on that, I would like to say that we really against time. I mean, time is not on our side. It's supposed to last for an hour, and we are close to almost 45 minutes ever since we started. Within the remaining minutes or time that we have, feel free maybe to give your recommendations or your final remarks to the people of Uganda, or even to those who will be watching us after this session has been uploaded to our social media platforms. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, my final remarks to my fellow Ugandans. I don't know if I'm still in my youthful age, because currently I'm 31, so I don't know if I'm still a youth.
You even look younger. You even look like a teenager. I'm sorry to say, but not if it's UK.
So
Yeah,
I want my fellow youths in Uganda to wake up.
true,
Not to be comfortable with where they are.
true.
Not to be comfortable with having a bachelor's.
True,
Not to be comfortable with having a master's.
true.
To take an extra step. We have the internet. This is a source of everything.
Yeah.
You can learn everything from the internet. Currently, I hold a Commonwealth shared scholarship.
Yeah.
And the way how I got into this scholarship, it's amazing. It was my first attempt, but I just, on LinkedIn, it's where I saw someone posting scholarship open.
Nice.
And I applied.
Nice.
You understand?
Yeah.
So you cannot, I want to say that there are some other media that we can use. We can network like Facebook, what.
Yeah.
But I want to push people to a professional network. People should professionally network. People should move on to LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
You understand? As long as you're connected, as long as you network, when you get to these professional networks, you'll get to open up your minds and get to know what is moving on in the professional world. You'll get to see things that are moving on, and you'll have to. So I want my fellow youth to do that. The other thing is I want my fellow youth to appreciate visibility.